Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Dakota football here on the Chippewa channel. We're just about ready to kick off here for Homecoming 99. Dave, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, talking with Coach Giannone, he says that defensively, obviously, is going to be the key. If they can, he's got a lot of respect for their quarterback. They want to contain him. He thinks that they have good team speed, so they're going to be looking to do those couple things defensively. They feel like they can put some points up early. That'll change maybe Utica's game plan. So, hey, we're kicking off. We probably defer to the second half, so maybe we've already won one thing, and we'll see what happens the rest of the ball game.
Schneemann and Bungard back deep for the Chieftains of Utica High School. As Brian Henderson gets ready to boot it away. Beautiful night for football. Here for October 1st, homecoming clash. Here's Henderson's kick. High and short. Schneemann lets it bounce, picks it up at the 18, and is drilled right there, right at about the 20-yard line. Once again, Tim Parslow, a name we've called several times on special teams, makes the opening tackle, where the Chieftains now will set up 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Well, that's just as good as kicking it in the end zone. I mean, had a little bit of spin on it, ball stopped right there, and we covered it real well there. So they start on the 20. It's actually even a little better because they don't start in the middle of the field. So, good opening kick.
Well, here comes Utica now. Go with split backs behind the explosive quarterback, Leach. Brad Leach, number 17. Takes the snap. He'll throw it outside right away, and it's complete to Bungard, but he is going to be dropped for a loss. Out there by number 42, I believe. That looks like Pete Hines. Couldn't quite tell. Actually, it was Jason Vignew with the stop. So Jason Vignew with a big stop. 5-yard loss, and it's 2nd down and 15. Brad Leach calls the signals. He'll throw again. Straight drop. Schneemann coming underneath for a screen. Now Leach will run with it, and down he goes. Jason Vignew again at the 11.
Yeah, they were trying to set up what looked like a little underscreen with the wide receiver coming back to the middle of the field. We had covered that. We had that all covered up, and Vignew was able to pursue him from behind and tackle him. So 2 plays, 2 losses. So they're going in the right direction as far as we're concerned.
That'll bring up 3rd down and about 18, we'll call it, from the 12. Single set, 4 wide outs this time for Leach. He'll send his back, number 35, Nate Figuera, in motion. Drops to pass. Looks left. Fires. Incomplete over the middle. Had a man. A little bit too far out in front of number 18, Brian Marulli. Incomplete. 4th down for Utica.
Well, once again, I think we had it covered. If he catches it in that particular situation, he's going to be down anyway, short of the 1st down. The quarterback, maybe, still a little bit of nerves going. The first pass was a little behind his receiver. That one was a little in front. But it looks like he's got some good poise back there. He sets up real well, and he's going to we're going to see a lot of passes today.
Well, defensive coordinator Ken Thole mentioned that he thought that this could run into the 3.5-hour range as both teams will look to pass off. And Leach will also handle the punting duties. He hits a wobbler to Schultz. Jarrett at the 43, running right. Gets a block, 40, 35, and down right there at the 35, but a good return. Short field for the Cougars to set up for their first offensive possession. So once again, good field position here for Dakota to open their first offensive drive. And we'll have to wait and see what the Cougars come out with, as they've thrown new wrinkles at us every week.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Schneemann made a great tackle on that play, but, once again, that's what was our whole key against Grosse Pointe South, was field position, and we're starting with great field position again this week.
3 wide out set for Todd Wojciechowski, the quarterback. Sends Anderson in motion. Hands off to Paul Sasson. Sasson inside the 35-30, 25-20, 15. Stumbles inside the 10 down to the 8. And Paul Sasson with a big run, but there's a flag on the play. It's coming back for holding.
Well, that's unfortunate. I talked with Coach before the ball game. He thought they were, based on watching the film and watching, you know, the JV game last night, he really felt that they were going to try to take Anderson away. They were going to try to lock on him man-to-man and play 3 deep. So he told me we're going to see a lot of motion. We did see that right on the first play. And he felt that if they were going to do that and continue to do that, that they were going to be able to run the ball. And as you saw in the first play, you know, big yardage. Unfortunately, we grabbed somebody and had a little hold there. But we may see Anderson in motion a little bit more than we have previously up to this point.
Well, Paul Sasson coming off the ankle injury, the team's leading rusher, yards per carry wise, 6.5 yards per carry, 291 yards rushing on the season on 45 attempts. And I know the coaches were a little bit concerned about Paul's conditioning coming into this game, so we'll see how much action he ends up seeing. Wojciechowski will pass now on 1st and long. Looking downfield, throwing it up there for Reeling. Just overthrown at the goal line. Incomplete. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Boy, just about a step too long there for Dave as he laid out at the goal line, but it fell incomplete.
Yep, just a little bit too long, but again, that's a little adrenaline going early in the ball game. You know, but it was the night. The good things we look at that is great protection for Todd to set up, and anytime you have a long pass, you need a little extra time, you know, back there to throw. So that's encouraging that the boys are really doing a nice job of picking up their blocks, picking up their reads.
2nd down and 13 now from the Utica 38. 3 wide outs, split backs this time for the Cougars. Play action, setting the screen, throws it back to Sasson. Sasson's got it at the 40. Cuts outside 35, lowers his shoulder, and is down at the 31. Yeah, gain of about 8 on that play. Down to about the 31-yard line, where it'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 6.
Yeah, Mike Fander did a nice job. You know that's a big person right there, one of our biggest offensive linemen. And on that screen, you know, he's got to get down the field and hold his block. And you know, hopefully we're able to see that was number 77 down there pushing that guy around. And Paul was able to pick up a few extra yards because of it.
4 wide now for Dakota. Parslow in motion. Hand off to Tim. Trying to break a tackle in the backfield, but dragged down there by number 6, Jacob Bisbee. Loss on the play back to about the 34-yard line. And it'll bring up 4th down and about 9.
Yeah, right there, Coach. Again, I talked to Coach G during the day today, and he said that was one thing they were going to try. They're going to try to send Timmy in motion and try to do a quick handoff to him. You know, right there didn't work, but we'll see if they'll come back to that because I know they have a counter play off of that. And, you know, I'm a little surprised we're not punting right here to really put them back deep, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll pick up the 1st down.
Todd will drop the throw for it. Throws the middle screen. He has it to Parslow. Tim's looking for a block. Runs into Anderson. Comes up short at the 31, where Utica will take over 1st and 10. A lot of screen passes here early on by the Cougars.
Yeah, right there, you know, if Anderson comes up a little quicker, he might be able to get to that man. If we're a little quicker, we might be able to get outside of him, and then Sam makes that block. It goes for a big yardage, but we weren't quite able to do that. You know, again, we're the king of second guessers. We can do that easily up here, you know, if we punt them deep. But, you know, it's they've got a long ways to go, and we've got a lot of confidence in our defense.
Well, 1st and 10 now from the Utica 31. It's a handoff inside. Didn't get much on that one. Ball was carried that time by number 27, Kyle Rushke. He picked up maybe 3. Sean Vigneault made the stop. 2nd down and 7 now from the Chieftain 34. No score in the ball game. 7.5 minutes to go, 1st quarter. Brad Leach in trouble. Jason Vigneault chasing. And Leach picked up maybe 3 on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 4.
Yeah, again, you know, that shows the athleticism of their quarterback. That was one of the things Coach talked about. We've got to be able to contain him. And, you know, he picked up 3, which is not a big deal. You know, plus every time he does run, we got to put a little punishment on him, you know, to make him pay for putting the ball in his arm and running.
Well, Leach is an explosive player. Earlier in the season in the 28-7 win over Lance Cruz, he accounted for all 28 points, throwing for 3 TDs, rushing for 1, and kicking all 4-point afters. He'll roll to his right this time, looking downfield to the outside. Complete to number 18 for Utica, Brian Marulli. We'll have to check the spot. He was right at the stick. Kalashevsky made the stop. Officials looking to that far sideline, and first down, Utica.
Yeah, with that spot they gave him, it was definitely a first down. You know, it's a judgment call right there. You guys just got to, you know, if he judges it to be a little bit short, we're in good shape. But that's just a call by the official. That's the way it goes. And, you know, they're able to pick up that first down. I mean, we were right there on the coverage. So, you know, they just barely got the first down right there.
First and 10 from the 42. Vigneault coming on a blitz. Inside handoff to Nate Figueroa. He got it out to about the 45. Good gang tackling there by the interior defensive line of Dakota. Brings up second down and 7. Chris Kazmar hustles into the game to replace Joel Fentner. Leach comes to the line, sends 2 wideouts out to his left. Takes a snap, hands off to number 27. Rushke out of bounds in Dakota territory, just short of the first down. DeBartolomeo on the stop.